Alright, hello. Welcome to Hyper Light Drifter, a game made by Heart Machine in 2017. It's an indie adventure that is very cryptic. There's not a lot of words. In fact, there's 0 words except for on menus. So, you can play it however you want, and I'm going to play it fast. Getting into the game here, I'm going to be playing on Standard, which is basically just new game. Timer starts when I choose my file name. If I type /skip, it'll skip the opening cutscene, and I don't like watching the opening cutscene because it's very long and loud, so let's skip it. Right off the bat, I messed up a skip. You saw me kind of dash at a weird angle there. What I was going for is that little cutscene where the drifter was coughing. I was trying to skip that. There are a lot of cutscenes in that game, or in this game, where the drifter just kind of stops and coughs for 2 or 3 seconds, and there's a lot of them where we can just kind of jump around the trigger for them, so I want to do that as much as possible. Once I get into more normal gameplay here, I'm going to get into combat, which is just slashing my sword for now, and dashing around, which you can see me doing a whole lot of in chains of 3. If I reset myself at a ledge, like if I dash near a ledge, sometimes the game will magnet me onto that ledge, and it will reset my dash chain back to the first dash in the chain. And that lets me get more dashes off in a row. I picked up a pistol, which is the first gun that's in the game. It allows me to do what's called plinking. Plinking is when I use my sword and whatever gun I have at the same time, and it will deal damage from both essentially at the same time. It's pretty good because not only does it let you deal damage from both weapons at once, but also using your sword on enemies and objects is what gives you ammo back. So it doesn't really consume ammo either, until we get guns that have higher ammo consumption, like one I'm going to be picking up later in the run. So we're almost done with the tutorial here. I just need to get to the screen with the last cutscene of the tutorial. There's a successful cough cutscene skip. I went down at the beginning of the screen, and it was to go around a cutscene trigger. And this is a cutscene. That's the final boss, by the way. We can't fight him yet because we're too busy dying. Alright, cool. So that was a pretty good tutorial section, just to learn about the game. Now we're going to get into some cutscenes, because video games. This is where we separate from kind of what you just saw into a lot more exploration. The game's going to get pretty open at this point forward, so a lot of routing is going to be dependent on, you know, where good items are. We're going to get the map soon. This guy right here is kind of tinkering it with it right now. While the drifter is asleep. So I'm going to dash out of bed once I can, pick it up. And this is going to show up. This little infographic, we see these containers with these purple triangles, and we put them in this big thing. That's not going to make sense until we go outside. Activate this fast travel point. Gonna pause and unpause the game so the game doesn't force open the map after I use the fast travel point. And hey, look at that! It's that big figure from the infographic. So this thing in the middle of the diamond is the elevator to the final boss. We can't get there yet, so what we need to do is we need to get 4 of those little purple triangles that we saw in that infographic. We need to get 4 from each area, and then we also need to activate this pillar that's in each area. We can choose whatever area we want to do first, with the exception of we have to save south for last because game reasons. So I'm going to do north first, because that thing I just picked up there is called a bit. I'm struggling a little bit on the movement to get back in, because this movement to get back to this arena after getting that bit is not very intentional, and I am also, like, bonking on everything. A bit is a unit of currency in this game that you can collect 4 of, and it will give you 1 coin. In the run, what I want to have is an upgrade that costs 3 coins by the time I'm done with the first area I go to. So the north area here, having the fastest coins to get, is the one that the no major glitches category goes to first. I guess I could talk about no major glitches while I'm here. No major glitches is a kind of interesting category because every other category has a bunch, like minutes and minutes worth of controller exclusive skips. The way that this game was tested, controller's aiming module with 2 analog sticks and the keyboard mouse aiming module are very different, and that's kind of broken in controller's favor. So no major glitches is a category where every controller-exclusive glitch is banned. So a keyboard runner can run this as they please. And as someone who honestly can't even imagine playing this game on controller, it's pretty fun. I'm gonna heal here. You might notice my health just filled up in the top right. I can talk about the HUD a little bit because I'm just gonna be dashing up and through cutscenes. So I have the big green squares. Those are my health. And I have the big, or the kind of big, purplish pink squares. Those are my ammo. At the very left is the, my medical packs, or my med packs, my med kits, whatever you want to call them. I have none right now because I just used them. I can store up to 3. Using one is pretty simple. It just consumes one and refills your health to full. So keeping a high amount of those is usually good because it's very easy to die in this game. This game is very difficult. This is our first module. You notice the container and the purple triangle and all. I paused and unpaused the game quickly to stop the game from auto-opening the map because the map is not fun. The map is actually pretty fun, but we'll get into that, like, not now. Right now, we have birds to deal with. These birds are here. They suck. The reason they suck is because their laser does 2 damage. Fortunately, we can insta-kill them with a plink, so I don't really mind too much. Also, for some reason, a battle with a group of birds, one of them will tend to have a bit, so there's a little bit of an upside to having to fight them, and that is we get a lot of quick bits in this area from stuff that's basically required anyways. This fight wasn't required, however, it lets us pick up this key, which is a very important key for later in the run because it unlocks a door. That's what keys generally do. The door in question that I'm unlocking, though, will give us a module in a later area of the run, so it's just good to pick up that now than pick up any other module in the area. This is a bit of a safe strat, is getting this bit over one later in the room. Once I get up here, you're going to see all these birds. And there's no barrier here, so I can just dash right past all of these if I so please, and I did so please. One of those birds, however, though, does have a bit. So there is a strat where you can kill the bird with the bit and not kill any other bird in that arena. It's ridiculous. Birds. Birds? Okay, that was strange. Birds have fun behavior. Alright, we're through that arena. So that's something that you've kind of seen small versions of, but not a bigger version of like that, is that there are a lot of like very formal enemy arenas in this game. So you need to get pretty good at combat to be able to do those quickly. All of them have specific spawn orders, like that one you saw there. I tried to kill enemies in a specific order to, you know, be in good positions to kill other enemies. Unfortunately, the birds kind of ruined that, but what can you do? I activated a waypoint as well to fast travel to later, and then I also got off screen quickly. Waypoints are supposed to be another one of those things that insta-pull up the map, but I actually skipped that map open by, believe it or not, getting off of the screen quick enough. So, we're vibing. I'm gonna go down here now to this little, I guess you could call it a library. There are a lot of books in it. There's also, like, bits and a module, so I'm gonna go here. I want to be careful not to die because this place is really scary, actually. We're about to get into an arena with birds and a guy with a gun. The guy with the gun shot me, so I'm actually at 1 HP right now, which is scary. Or 2 HP, rather. Which is scary, because it's basically 1 HP with these laser birds in the house. I got past the laser birds, though. So, what I'm going to do here is while interacting with the module to pull it out, this game's interaction system, you have to hold your interact button for a bit. While holding down the interact button, I actually opened the map. And what that did was I could fast travel out of the area well in the module cutscene. And doing that skipped the animation of me warping out of the area after the module cutscene finished. I just went straight into the warp. That's something I'm going to try and do a lot with stuff like modules and other stuff when I'm done with areas, is skip animations like that, because those are considered minor glitches. So they're legal in the definition of this run. So, okay. Now we have our third module, so we can go into this 3-module door. Because we have 3 modules. I do a sword slash there because the invisible wall for dashing is actually up a little bit longer than sword slashing, so I need to slash to get a little bit of forward distance before going into that next room. And now we're going to go down here. This part of the run is very scary. If I die at, like, any point before the boss fight coming up, I get respawned back at the beginning of this room. So I'm going to do my best not to die. I have full med packs and full health right now. So I shouldn't have a problem. Unless laser birds want to cause a problem, which they sometimes do. Okay, battle time. I am going to safety. It's just what you do sometimes. Playing things safe in a marathon is, I know, crazy. There's a hidden module down here. And what I'm going to do here is once I see the save icon up here in the bottom right, I'm going to quit to title. And then I'm going to reload that save with continue game. Continue game just kind of loads whatever game was last loaded. So, okay, my game is kind of visualing out. Please fix. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Okay, I think it fixed itself now. We're good. I don't know what that was. So, usually when you get your 4th module in an area, it plays this very long cutscene. That sucks. And I don't want to deal with it. So what I did there was I skipped the cutscene by quitting the game and reloading it. That's the only time that shows up in the run, because every other area we get to warp out after the 4th module, but there we kind of don't want to warp anywhere. Here's the first boss. Technically named the Hierophant, although better known as Jerk Pope, because he's a jerk and a pope, and I don't understand hitboxes in this game. He's a very dangerous boss because he's a laser bird, and laser birds, by definition, hit you for 2 HP. So we get back in the fight. It's a very difficult fight to do this early in the run. This is a very major reset point for, like, a lot of runners. I was gonna say, like, kind of newish runners, but no, even people that are good at this game can struggle with this boss. Alright, there we go. We got him second try. I'll take that in a setting like this. That's a very difficult boss. There's one easy boss in this run. The others are all run killers. Okay, that's a debatable statement. There's another boss that's actually also not too bad, but, like, we'll get to that. That boss is hard. I'm gonna take this heal. So I can still be at full med packs and health once I'm out of this area. So, on top of getting the 4 modules in an area, I mentioned I also had to activate this pillar. I can do the same warp glitch with the pillar that I did with the module warp, except for some reason this one shows the warp animation. But it's still, like, you don't have to watch both the pillar animation and the module and the warp animation, so it still saves time. So that's north. That was a pretty okay north. Usually what you like to see, because it's a very scary area, so getting out of it is good. Once a certain animation there happens, I know to quit out of the shop as soon as possible. So, I bumped. What the hell was that sound effect? I don't know what's going on anymore, but with that money that I just got, I got the, chain dash. You can see my dashing has changed a lot, and it's also fallen. So the chain dash is a dash upgrade that vastly changes how your dashing works. Now, instead of having that system of 3, if I press space in good succession, space being my personal dash key, you can see me do all these dashes in a row. One big change between the chain dash and the normal dash is that I actually technically have infinite dashes now. There's 2 technicalities to that, one being the system of dashes that I want to use, and 2 being stamina. You can see now on top of everything I have in my up left HUD, there's now a little white stamina bar at the top. I need that stamina to chain dash. So I need to manage my stamina. On top of that, you'll also notice that despite having infinite dashes, I'm only dashing in chains of like 2 or 3 usually. I'm going to break that here because I'm going to be able to do something. But the main reason I do that is because there's these animations that happen. Usually if you do more than 3 dashes in a chain, so 4 or more, you'll do this little skid animation when you're done with your chain. And that's not fun to watch, so you usually try and only do chain dashes of 3. But even then, you'll see me sometimes do chain dashes of 2. And that is because once you do your 3rd chain dash, or your 3rd dash in a chain, rather, you gain the risk of bonking if your dash runs into, like, a solid object, like a wall, or an NPC, or literally anything that isn't the ground. I'm gonna take this safe. I don't technically need that fast travel point, but fast travel points heal you, and I was at 2 HP because I kept falling. There we go. That was something I wanted to do earlier. If you can, it's good to be able to fully chain dash. Like there, what I did was I did like 8 dashes in a row and canceled it with a, what did I cancel that? With a cough cutscene. I canceled it with a cough cutscene, which is like a good thing to do. So now we're down here, we get introduced to some of these plant enemies. These ones here, these big ones, do 2 HP, and they're also invincible when they're attacking, so I want to kill them as fast as I can. And it's also, this is an area where it's really, oh, I accidentally healed. It's fine. I get a med pack in this area anyway. There's like a lot of med packs in East. So I'm usually not too concerned about accidentally using one, which is something I do fairly often. As we get into more and more arenas in this game with trickier and trickier enemies, one thing that's going to be important to keep in mind is learning arenas to the point where I know where every enemy's going to spawn, and that way I can minimize on, like, the time where they're active and trying to murder me. Getting murdered is not good. Aiming in this game. I don't need bits anymore, so I'm not going to pick that one up. We're completely done with money in this run. I actually am... Oh, I'm not out of ammo. I thought I was out of ammo. Cool, I can blink this guy. So, once I'm done with this arena, I'm actually going to go to the left here and unlock this door. That key I got from that hidden arena in the north is actually used on that door. So... now it's time for a very hard room. I got through it, now I have to get backwards. So yeah, we pick up that key in north because it gives us one of our modules in the east. I got through that room backwards damageless. That's very nice. Very good east so far. So here we have another one of these cutscenes that are kind of like symbolism. Understanding things is not my strong suit, so sorry I can't really comment on the story that well. This is a intentionally very vague game, so that doesn't help. But also, again, kind of me dumb disease. So I can get this now. That's that safety warp point I used earlier in the run, or in the east. But I don't need to actually get it. I just like doing stuff because it's fun. I love the music in the second part of East. We get introduced to these frog enemies once we're later in East. Hello? They're actually pretty annoying to deal with. So this part of the east can get much more difficult than the first part. Very nice dashing. And I dashed off. Oops. I went for swag and it didn't pay off. Alright. So we're going to do a little bit of a loop around here. What I need to do is I need to fight that enemy arena in order to get into here. And then what I need to do is go into here to activate a bridge that goes up. You notice that last arena I did, I went up a little bit before the enemies spawn, and I saw there was like a not bridge there. This switch right here is going to put an actually bridge there, if I actually hit it. Yeah, now an actually bridge is going to spawn there. And now I can go back there and walk on the actually bridge, is what I would say if the arena didn't show up. Surprise. For some reason, this arena is weird. You do not need to kill everything in this arena, so you can see this frog just jumping around having a good time and all these enemies coming from the bushes. Meanwhile, I'm just leaving. I bonked on the door. So now it's time for the next boss fight. This boss fight is very difficult, is what I would say if it was difficult. I'm going to shoot a pistol shot here, and if it hits him after the cutscene starts, it just skips his opening cutscene, which is cool because his opening cutscene is gross. If I'm in a good position here, I'll bait him into never throwing his potion, and he'll keep slamming the ground, and I can just keep plinking. And that's an easy fight. Look away, because this is gross. There you go. That is the Emperor. I guess I should mention, if you haven't picked it up yet, between the Hierophant and the Emperor, that the bosses in this game are named after the tarot cards Major Arcana, because why not, honestly? That's a very hard pause to do, so I usually just personally wait for the map to open. It is possible to cancel the map open like it is with every other map open on that specific map open, but that one, for some reason, is just way worse than every other in the run. So, nope. Once I'm done with this area, we pick up the shotgun. Or rather, I just did pick up the shotgun, which is the best gun in the game. The reason why it's the best gun in the game is because, as shotguns do, it fires a spread of shots. If I am plinking, what this means is if every bullet in the spread of 5 hits the enemy, I will deal 5 damage plus the sword slash. So I will deal 6 damage with a single plate, which is kind of crazy. That was a very good east, and now we're on to west. Because of barriers that are in the way, I need to do north, east, and west before going into south, which is the hardest area of the run. So it keeps everything kind of stressful because I know that I have to end the run off with, like, the hardest part of it. West, actually, I struggle a lot with stamina management. You'll notice I just ran out. That's something I do surprisingly often in this area, is run out of stamina. Let's, go fast. That's our first module in West. A very easy module, but it's actually going to be like a hot minute until I get another one. I also am going to just fall off a pit because I didn't want to be at full health, I guess. Don't worry about it. So these trees have very weird hitboxes. So throughout a lot of this area, I'm going to be doing 2 dashes instead of 3 on my chains because trust me, even if it doesn't look like I should bonk somewhere, there's going to be a time where I will bonk on one of these trees if I do 3 dashes. That was pretty good movement through all those dogs. Those dogs are enemies we've seen in North, and they were scary there, and they're scary here. They move very fast, so you want to be careful with them. I'm going to go around here, because there's a cough cutscene if I just go down the middle of this room. And then we're getting into a fight. And you're going to see another tree hitbox funny. I can just hit a loading zone, and skip a very big arena. That loading zone kind of peeks out of the trees there, so... Easy skip. You can do it at home. I'm gonna activate this for later. Pause and unpause. And there's another pretty easy one. That one's not more like there's, you know, a loading zone peeking out of the trees, but more there's holes in the trees that lead into that loading zone, so you can just get in there for free without having to worry at all. Now we're going down here. You saw the first use of the shotgun there. I just kind of absolutely decimated this row of crystals. It was pretty fun. These crystals are everywhere in this area, and they're very annoying. I'm going to take it safe here. I was going to go for a strat where I try and go around that little explosive thingy, but I decided against it in the end. So this area can be kind of annoying because it can be somewhat slow to hit these things if you don't plink them. However, if you plink them, since they're not enemies, they don't give as much ammo, so you'll lose a lot of ammo in this section quick. And something I haven't mentioned yet about the shotgun is if you look at the ammo up at the shotgun, it takes twice as much ammo as the pistol to use a shot. So we can only use 3 per full loadout, which is not a lot. Granted, sword slashes usually give us about 5 per full loadout with a plink, but, like, let me complain about weapon capacity, please. Let me complain. All I want to do is just complain all the time. I'm getting stuck in crystals. So here's a module up on this screen. You go around all this stuff because dealing with it takes too much time. And then you get this. So now we're going to go on to the later parts of the West. Now that we have 3 modules, we can open the 3 module door, which means we can get into the ending area. That's the sign, is usually 3 module doors exist. There are other module doors in the game. Like, there's a 1 module door I think we're going to see in the run. Yeah, there's a 1 module door we're going to see later in the run, but I'll get to that when I get to that. This is a very annoying screen. There we go. These crystals on the ground are obnoxious. I'm gonna try and go around a cutscene here. You can kind of see that guy that's been in, like, all the cutscenes prior acting out his cutscene. While I was just kind of dashing around him. That's what I want. Because that's supposed to be a cutscene. I'm bonking everywhere. These next 2 screens, I can just kind of try and do a full chain dash through them. And not bonk, but that time I did. It's fine. You know what? Let's not worry about it. We got through. We have something more important to worry about, and that is that the boss is upcoming. This boss is terrifyingly difficult. A major run killer of mine. I'm going to hit some stuff to get to full ammo. Thank you. So the first thing I want to do is I want to dash into him and skid. The next thing I want to do is get my shotgun plinking done really good. The thing with shotgun plinking is there's actually kind of like this cooldown on when I can fire the shotgun. So what I need to do is I need to go back to the pistol and then back to the shotgun every time I want a shotgun plink. There we go, got him. Got him first try. That boss is really difficult, so any first try fight I take. You can see I used 2 med kits and was actually pretty far down on my 3rd health bar. So yeah, you need to do like a lot of stuff to try and stay alive in that fight. His pattern is technically manipulatable. Depending on how you move can affect how he moves. And what you can do is you can get him, like, not quite stuck, but in a decently long loop of him just reviving these enemies that won't really do much to you throughout the course of the fight. You saw him do a little bit of that, but not too much. That's the ideal scenario, is that you kill him while he's just reviving enemies over and over. Unfortunately, I messed up my movement when it comes to reviving enemies stuff, so I had to get into a very real brawl with him. But I still got out alive, so that's what's important. And there we go, we're done with the west. I had to warp back to that midpoint we got halfway through in order to get a module, but now that I have the module, it's time to move on to the last area of the run, the south. I bonked on that NPC before, not fun. The south is the hardest area in the game. In fact, it's so difficult that as you're about to see, there are these little arrows that point up, left, and right. Those signal northwest and east. You have to get the pylon in each area to access this final area. So, this isn't even the final boss area. This is just the area before the final boss area. Using a skid to look cool, and then trying to use a skid to look cool and failing. So the south is very difficult. It's very separated. There are actually 4 different bosses here that I'm going to be trying to fight. We're not trying to fight, but that you can be fighting in the run if you so desire. I'm going to be fighting 2 of them. One of them is going to be required. One of them is not technically required, but going to give us a module, which is cool. So the south has a lot of scary enemies. And not a lot of health to go with it. Which is kind of very scary coming right off of the Hanged Man. To not have a lot of med packs going into south. I didn't kill this wave of little Slimers. I didn't take a lot of damage in that arena, which is really good. I didn't take any damage in that arena, which is really good. That is a usually very scary arena. I can still die in the screen to these crushers that insta-kill if you get crushed. I'm going to use a med kit before going in there. Stop getting stuck on the wall, Drifter! Scary stuff in this area. Walls are mean. So, coming up is a boss fight. I'm gonna heal to be safe. This is the Mimic. This is not a real module. The Mimic, I have to have very good plinks. Got him! So, the main thing in that fight is that the enemies that he starts spawning around him, will give you ammo, as their enemies. So you kind of have to plink both. You have to kind of get all your shotgun shots on him, but have your sword shots hit not only him, but the stuff around him, so you have enough ammo to do the whole fight without having to do anything extra for more ammo. And that way he won't, like, start doing his thing where he goes all around the room. Because if you leave that fight, if you leave him alive for too long, he'll start flying around the room, and all of these projectiles will go over the place. It's crazy. We don't want to deal with it, so we don't. But now that we have our first module of the area, we can go down here. Somewhat early into where I'm going now is going to be a 1-module door that I referenced earlier, so the first module we do is just from the Mimic boss. That boss does not fit the theme of being named after a major arcana, but that boss is also not a major boss, so in your face. It also might be a minor arcana. I actually don't know about the tarot cards that Persona didn't cover. If Persona didn't cover something about the tarot cards, I do not know it, so... I'm educated. I used the shotgun to deal with that enemy there just because it has a lot of health and a lot of nerve. And I don't want to deal with that. I'm going to grab this module because it's free. There's a lot of explosives here, and then the medkit. I'm actually going to be in a point soon where I'm going to be getting a lot of almost free medkits, so my health might be good for a little bit for once in this area. which is, like, shocking, I know. I'm gonna do a little skip there. I went on this little invisible... Okay, you. I went on this little invisible platform that was hiding behind this corner, and I used it to get to this area a little bit earlier than intended. I really want this enemy out of the way. And that's a mechanic I don't think I've shown off yet because I never had it applicable. If you have full medkits and you take another one, that one just fully heals you on the spot. That's pretty nice. So I'm actually going to do a lot of slashing around here because I have, like, no ammo. And I would like a lot more ammo. I'm getting stuck on enemies. This is scary. How much ammo do I have right now? Full! Okay, cool. I'm going to try and not use any in this room. Unless I'm flanking. No promises, though, because stuff happens sometimes. I'm going to try and get full health here. There's a med pack up here that I'm going to grab. Cool, I got hit before the game considered that pack grab, so... Cool, no damage in this room, so I'm full health, full kits entering. Maybe? No! Alright, this boss is really hard. Just like the Hanged Man, the boss in the west, this guy is technically fully manipulatable based off of your movements. But it's very tricky to do every time, so... Got him first try. Again, that's what's important. I'm gonna do a safety here and heal. There's no enemies past this point, but there are some pits. So I'm gonna take the safety and heal so that I don't die in a pit and have to do another checkpoint again. Because, again, that's a very scary boss, so I would like to be one and done with it. In a run setting, in any setting. Especially when on a good pace. And I bonked into the pillar. So, I'm going to activate the pillar and the warp here at the same time, like always. I'm not quite done with the area. I still need one more module. However, that's not going to be hard to get. It's actually very funny how easy this one is after all of that. I'm just going to dash off the edge. I'm in a very good mood after that south going well. I'll grab this. Struggled actually grabbing onto the module, but got through the dash challenge first try. Kind of bad movement there, but didn't mess too much up. That's what's important, is not messing stuff up. So here we go. With all 4 of the pillars pulled up and 4 modules in each area, it's time to go to the final boss. The final boss is right down this elevator. It's a very long elevator, so give it a moment. Anyone count how many squares that was? So, we're down this elevator. Now it's time for the final boss. And coughing. There's going to be a lot of coughing. Yeah, so we're down the elevator. And now we need to go down these stairs. And then down these stairs. There's a lot of stairs right here. And I bumped. And I bonked again. It happens. So here we go. The boss is right in here. You can kind of see the game doing a lot of visual stuff. I'm going to opt to be at full health for this fight, even though it's honestly one of the easier ones in the run. Not quite like Frog Boss easy, but another fight where I do it, there's, like, if I do it right, there's really nothing that'll be able to hit me in the fight. So I just have to do it right. Easy, you know? So that monster from the beginning of the game will spawn. And then we shotgun flick it a bunch. At a third of its health each time, it'll go into this weird phase right here, where it spawns these little thingies. I'm gonna use that phase to get my ammo back. Before just going into the next phase. Alright, and there we go. That's the final boss. Something funny is that you kind of slide when you do that. I don't know why, but it is really funny to me. So there we go. That was the final boss. We're not done yet, though. The timer stops when my last movement is done. So I need to walk down here. If I do any action at this point that isn't, like, just holding my down key or my right key, I will cough. I'll do it sometimes automatically, like right there, I didn't press anything, but I still cough. But like if I press my dash key, I'll cough. If I press my interact key, I'll cough. If I press my heal key, my map key, my weapons, I'll cough. So I just want to hold down. I need to move right a little bit to get past a tree that's coming up. And time is when I put my elbow against this statue, which is going to be right there. All right, so that's Hyper Light Drifter. That was a pretty good run to have for a submission video. We take those. This is a really tricky game, so I'm really glad I was able to get a really, really good run for the submission. So yeah, I'll let this ending play out while I talk for a little bit more. This is a really fun run. I know it might be borderlining some of the charity, precautions. It's very gory, but I still love running it and showing it to people that have never seen it before, especially, again, if I can get a run like that. Yeah, this is just a really fun game, and I love playing it. So I have a lot of fun, and I can't wait for the event proper. Even if this game, or none of my games really get in, it's going to be a fun event no matter what happens. So thank you for putting it on every year, and yeah, that's about all I have to say. I'll let this cutscene finish, and then I'll close the video. So thank you.